Hello and welcome, lovely Leos. My name's Rose Smith and I'm here to do your tarot horoscope for 2020. And if you want to check out my website, it's absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. So if you haven't followed me before, just a little bit about how I work. I'll do the 2020 horoscope first and then a sort of psychic introduction type thing, some tarot and a psychic summary. So I like to mix it up a bit, otherwise it's just sort of boring looking at me all the time. So anyway, it's a big year for everybody. No doubt you've heard, if you've been following what's going on in spiritual circles and in astrology generally, 2020 has a lot of big aspects and big activity. So just to touch on it here, there are 6 eclipses, for example. Normally we would only have 3 or 4 eclipses in a year, but with this year we have 6. So when an eclipse hits, it actually can last, the effects can last for months, several months certainly, but up to 6 months, some astrologers say. So with 6, as you can appreciate, they're rolling around on top of each other. So, you know, it's almost like we no sooner deal with the effects of the first eclipse and then the next one comes and then the next one comes. So it's a big year of transformation and new beginnings in 2020 for everybody. And for you, lovely Leos, it's a big year in terms of your own subconscious. Your 12th house is really being affected, and also your everyday life, your 6th house, which is where you do your everyday work, and it affects your health and your general well-being. On the 12th, there's also Saturn conjuncting Pluto, and that's in your 6th house, and you've also got, so you've got Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter already there happening, and then you have this conjunction happening, and then sometimes you have some, you know, eclipses and things going on. So it is a lot to deal with, and a lot of subconscious stuff will be coming out to deal with. It's coming out to be released, and also for general healing, so that you can feel more free. This year really is about letting go of situations and people that don't gel with you. They're not compatible to your basic nature and where you are in life at the moment. So Pluto loves to destroy things. He's the planet of death and rebirth. So, you know, if you think of the phoenix rising, coming from the ashes, that is probably a good analogy for this year. All right, 10th of January sees the first eclipse that I was just mentioning in your 12th house of the subconscious, and I call it the house of the divine, or the house of the goddess. Okay, so this is going to shake things up down there, and you may find that you want a bit of quiet time to just think about yourself, get away from distractions, and just be self-reflective, so you can do some personal development. Perhaps you'll be looking at your dreams, or you'll be journaling. I find journaling really, really helpful, and even exploring dreams, if you write your dreams down and then underline the key elements in the dream. And I should do a video on actually, you know, how to do dream interpretation on my list. But there'll be a lot coming up for you to deal with. And then on the 12th, as I mentioned before, Saturn and Pluto conjunct in your 6th. So this will also shake things up. It's important to have plenty of R&R time around the 10th and the 12th because of the sheer volume of stuff coming up. It's almost like, if you know anything about Kundalini energy in the base of the spine, it's like a big chunk of Kundalini energy could come up your spine. And if you're very sensitive, you can literally feel it coming up through the chakras in your spine and then out. And, you know, you might get things, for example, if there's like a blockage in the neck or in the head, it gets sort of stuck or delayed there. And you could have headaches or something like that. So you could get real physical effects from the amount of energy that you have to emotionally process around the 10th and the 12th. So it's important to streamline your everyday work. Don't spend too much time online. I know that's hard to say, especially if you work online like I do. But yeah, you might, if you don't, you might start to notice physical effects. Might affect your eyesight, your neck, your posture, you know, headaches, lower back, whatever. Okay, March 21st to July 1st, Saturn moves into your 7th house of committed relationships. So with Saturn going in there, it could be a bit of a slog. It's a bit like there's a mountain or a challenge, a mountain to climb, and you start climbing it, and you know, you go round and round in circles when you climb mountains to get to the top, generally speaking. And so there may be challenges in your committed relationships, dear Leos. But do know the relationships that last through this year, they're keepers. Like, because Saturn's really going to put the challenge on and the pressure on, and it could be after you get through the challenges. And I can feel now talking, there's financial challenges there too in some relationships. So those relationships that last will be stronger than ever. It could bring you, Saturn could actually bring you closer together if you're committed to each other. The relationships that are weak and they've got too many weak links, they could break this year. So it's important to get everything in balance in your life and try and be secure and safe as possible this year with all of the change going on. April 4th, June 20th and November 12th, Jupiter is conjuncting Pluto in your 6th house. This is all about destruction and growth. Jupiter wants to increase everything. Jupiter wants growth, expanse, adventure, excitement, change. Pluto is, like I said before, sort of like the planet of death and rebirth, the never-ending cycle of life and death. And so Pluto wants to destroy whatever it is that is holding you back in life. And sometimes we think, you know, we know what's right for us, and then we find that we've been hanging on so tightly that when Pluto comes along, that hanging on, it actually makes it more painful by hanging on so tightly, because Pluto will have his way, one way or the other, because it's all for our highest good that we learn and that we move forward in life, and then we're not, you know, stuck. So it won't, your life, you know, if you have been stuck, it's going to start to move in a direction this year. May 13th till June 25, Venus is retrograde in your 11th house. Now, this is your house of friends and connections, hopes and dreams. So you may go through like a quiet period where you don't want to really go out very much. You know, you just sort of let some friendships sort of sit, and you're not really actively putting energy into them. Some of those relationships could fall by the wayside, and this is of course to allow new friends to come in that are, you know, better aligned with who you really are as a person. Also, the other thing, it's also the house of hopes and dreams. If you had a relationship in the past where you really love somebody and it broke up, you may find that you hear news about that person. So there's like an ex or a twin flame from the past. You could hear news, or they could even come back. You may hear that they've broken up. They've been in a relationship and they've broken up, and now they've come back to you. And my advice is, of course, if they are an ex, then really consider why they are an ex. There is a reason they're an ex, and have they grown sufficiently past whatever it was in them that contributed to the breakup, and have you grown sufficiently past whatever it was in you that contributed to the breakup? So they're questions you have to answer June 5th and June 21st. June 5th is a lunar eclipse in your 5th house of, I call it young love. It's when you just meet somebody and the sparks are flying. And it's also creativity, entertainment. You could be closer to the world of the child. So you may have more to do with children physically, and you may be more in touch with your own inner child, because everybody has an inner child energy that is remarkably strong, even as an adult. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 70 years old and there's still an inner child there that's running your life. So, you know, you could be feeling very close to your child, but your job is to make your child happy, but, or I won't say but, happy, and provide an environment where your child can grow. So if you had some traumatic experience while you were a child, if you provide a safe environment now by not getting involved with the same sorts of dynamics as what happened in the trauma, you can allow that child to get unstuck and to grow up. Okay, so we're parenting ourselves. That's very important. So June 21st is a solar eclipse in your 12th house. Now, solar eclipse, this is sort of a bit interesting because solar eclipse tend to be more external and actions in the outside world. It's more of a sort of male force, where the lunar eclipse is more an inner force. It's more of a feminine force. So there might be things coming up in your subconscious, or things from the previous lunar eclipse at the time of the solar eclipse, where you take action, or action happens to you from the external world coming to you. But whichever way you look at it, it's a time, this fortnight period, it's a time of things coming up for transformation and new beginnings. So a solar eclipse is a new moon, which brings new starts, new beginnings. And in your 12th house, you might find that you're more interested in metaphysics, or psychology, or yoga, or astrology, psychic readings. These metaphysical type things, you might suddenly become interested or more interested, and then you do something in the physical world. So you might decide you're going to, you know, go and learn about it, or, you know, maybe buy a deck of tarot cards or something like that. But there's action and new beginnings. It's like a new start, new chapter in your book of life. So July 1st to December 17th, Saturn returns to your 6th house. This is where you're sort of being asked to reassess how efficient and effective your life is on an everyday basis. Are you wasting a lot of time? Are you watching YouTube all the time, or watching TV, or on your phone and just scrolling and not actually achieving anything, you know? And achieving things, and I mean, I know if you've got an idea, you need to research, obviously, but get that balance right. So that's what this is about, helping you to get the balance in your everyday work and your everyday life. When I talk about everyday work, even if you're not working, you still do stuff every day. So Spirit's trying to, you know, get you to let go of habits, old habits that are not helpful, and bring some new habits into your life. So whether that be some sort of movement, like you get up and go for a walk in the morning or something like that. I'm just seeing horses while I'm talking, whether you've got something to do with horses. I'm thinking that's more to do for the average person, because not many people have horses. I'm thinking that's horsepower. So horsepower is about the horsepower to get up out of bed and do something, you know, the motivation and the power to actually achieve. Okay, September 9th until November 14th, Mars retrograde in your 9th house. Now, you might be feeling a bit flat, because Mars is normally the motivator planet. Mighty Mars gives you the energy, take action, the motivation to achieve. And when it's retrograde, you might be feeling more flat, unmotivated. And because it's in your 9th house, this is your higher mind. So you might find, for example, it's harder to understand new abstract concepts, like the big picture. You could be looking at your life and you can see the details, but you don't see the big picture, or maybe you don't see what your mission is in life, or how does this relate to what I'm supposed to be doing in life now. So it's like, it's just not the time to, if you can avoid it, to take on new study where there's brand new material that you have to understand a big concept. You can still learn, but these big picture things, it's going to be more difficult. Ninth is also travel and overseas connections and spirituality as well. You may find that you might have been thinking about going overseas, and then you might find that there's a delay and something goes wrong, and then you can't quite get it together to actually go. If you do manage to go in that date, because I'm just looking, oh no, I was thinking about going overseas in August, so I should be right. September 9th until November 14th. Yeah, that just be careful about travel plans and things like that, because you might find that everything takes longer. You think you're going on a 10-hour train journey, whatever it is, from Paris to Lyon, and then the train breaks down and you have to change trains. It could be difficulties with flights or things like that. Excuse me. Or you just feel flat. You just don't feel like doing it is more likely than an actual breakdown. Breakdown is sort of reminding me of Mercury retrograde there, but it's just like you just don't have the energy to do it. November 30th, lunar eclipse in your 11th house. A real shake-up with your friends. Maybe some of your friends are really not your friends. You might decide you're going to clean up your Facebook friends list, like I do several times a year. To have the people that are more on the same page as you, because there's no point in having people there. I've just got rid of a few friends because they just want to argue all the time. I'm Libran, I don't want to argue. So whatever's in alignment with your personality and your soul, you may get rid of some friends there, or not see them, or put some boundaries so that you only see them on your terms occasionally. December 14th, solar eclipse in your 5th house, new start. So you might let go of friends during the, or so-called friends, during the lunar eclipse, and then during the solar eclipse, new friends come in. So a whole new lot of starts in your 5th house, and you might be up for a bit of flirtatious fun. You might decide you're going to socialise more, you're going to get out of your house and do more things, because you want to have a little bit of fun and leisure and pleasure in your life, and you want to let your inner child have some fun. December 17th, Saturn moves forward into the 7th, and Jupiter moves forward into the 7th on the 19th of December. This is a really powerful aspect, Saturn and Jupiter, in your 7th house, because it's to do with committed relationships. And you might find that, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. This is like men are from Saturn and women are from Jupiter. You might find one party that wants to be sort of more conservative, more traditional, more structure in the relationship. The other party wants to have more of an open relationship, perhaps, or they want to do exciting things, or they might want to go overseas without the other partner. So you have to find something that works there, because these two are completely sort of different energies. This big, expansive, generous, gregarious Jupiter that likes to take everything in and view these great horizons, versus Saturn that really likes structure, stability, to be traditional, conservative, seriousness, doesn't want to take risks, only does something after they've really thought about it and done this sort of step-by-step methodical analysis of the situation, And it's like Jupiter's like, you've missed the opportunity, mate, because that time has been and gone. As Jupiter just says, like, go for it. And so you have to work it out in a situation where you have committed relationships. Not only is this your personal relationships, like your husband or your partner or your wife, this is also your partnership at work, like business relationships. When you work closely with a colleague, you may not agree on everything because you've got different views of the world. And, if you're in business, for example, one of the partners might be really risk aversive and not want to take risks at this time, and Jupiter wants to take the risk. So, but you'll find the balance. That's the point. So, lovely Leos, I'm just going to close my eyes now and do a sort of psychic introduction for you and see what I can see in 2020. Okay, so first thing I've got is I've got all this sort of silvery, sparkly material. It's like it's being sprinkled down on the world, the whole entire world during 2020. Now, not everybody's going to pick this up. There might only be, if there's 7 billion people, there might only be a few 100 million that actually even notice the silvery sparkles of light and energy. Not everybody feels it or picks it up. So out of that, there's the ones that will sit there and they'll notice it and do nothing. And then the ones that want to do something but don't know what to do. And then the ones that say, wow, this is great, I'm going to grab it with both hands, not sure what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. And there'll be extremely very few people that know what they're actually doing and do something. So you've got to decide what kind of group you're going to be in. Are you going to pick up the signals in 2020 that Spirit is sending us all? Are you going to sit on your tush and not do much and just say, oh, that's interesting? Or are you going to jump in and do something, even if it feels like you're being a pioneer and you're going somewhere where you've never been before and you don't know what you're doing, but you're exploring? And maybe if you're really lucky, you might have a fairly good idea of what you're doing. But those people be extremely rare. I notice with myself too. Sometimes I just don't know what I'm doing, but I feel compelled to do it anyway. That's like here on YouTube, I'm trying to grow my channel, but I don't know about SEO and all of these algorithm things and stuff like that. Yeah, I just go with what I get. And so I suggest to you, that's what you do too. Go with your gut, feel what's going on in your gut. Oh, and just on that, we all have a supersized sun in our solar plexus that can direct our lives, and we can tune into that sun. That actually gives us energy. And while I'm not advocating breatharianism, I've just had this realization yesterday. This gives you energy. So if you focus on that, maybe, see if there's any change with your diet and what you eat. So the picture's finished now. So I've finished with that bit, apparently. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the tarot. Alrighty. Now, I've already pre-shuffled these cards, lovely Leos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a card, and every card is about a 2.5 month period of time. And that's just roughly. I should say too, the dates that I gave you before for the the horoscope, it's plus or minus a day, depending where you are. I'm in Australia. There's up to 24 hours difference depending what country you're in. So, there may be a day out. Alrighty, January, February into March. So these dates I'm giving you now are guidelines. And we're looking for lovely Leos, January, February, March. And we're going to go with that one. King of Cups, beautiful card, all about being in touch with your emotions. This is like you can appeal to people's emotions and maybe influence them in some way, not in a manipulative way. This is very positive. This king is expressing his emotions, and he is a role model. Even if you're a woman, you've still got a king energy within, and if you're a man, you do. And also, if you're a man, you've got a queen energy, and if you're a woman, you've got a queen energy. See this king here? He's sitting on a shell, and he's got a clam shell at the back of him. So he's in touch with his subconscious forces. This sort of fits because there is quite an emphasis on your 12th house, and that's the house of the subconscious, you may recall me saying. So he's feeling his feelings. There's also a sense of like generosity with this, well-roundedness, as in he's not ruthless. He's like, you know, if he needs to set boundaries, he can. But this is a great card for expressing yourself through January, February, and into Mars. Okay, so now we're going to Mars into March. Okay, so March, April, May. Now coming up for lovely Leos. We come up with the Page of Wands. Good news and inspiration coming to you. Wands is a very fiery, inspirational energy, and there's growth here and there's action. So this is also quite a well-rounded card in terms of physical energy. You can see she's on the ground. She's got pyramids in the back there. Could suggest travel, but also suggests chakras. So change in the chakras, opening and closing the chakras, becoming aware of the chakras in her physical body. Blue bow tie, expression. She's expressing herself, she's growing, she's taking action, she's grounded. So that's a terrific card too. So we're now into June. May, June, July, Australian winter, June, July, May, June, July, and summer if you're in the northern hemisphere, that one. All right, and we've got the Nine of Cups. Okay, so this is a great card too. This is your heart's desires can come true. Your wishes can be finally fulfilled. And it's the end of a cycle where you've been hoping and praying for something for a long time, and your emotions now are rewarded. Okay, so you express your emotions and you're feeling like finally a sense of relief, actually is the word I'm getting on that, relief. And know that there is help from the other side to make your dreams come true. May, June, July. And August, September, October. Now, August, September, October for lovely Leos. And we're going with that one. Okay, so this is like destruction. Something has to give way. This is a Tower card. Something has to give way so something new can start. And this sort of fits with Pluto, that Plutonian hit on the 12th of November. Let go of something so something new. See the all-seeing eye in the top corner there? And that is spirit watching over everything. Let go of whatever serves you. So this is sort of a theme throughout the whole year for you, Leo, because this is about streamlining your life and becoming more efficient and effective so you don't waste so much time. As we get older, we realise how much time we waste. I guess because we're running out of time to do stuff. But something that Michael the Archangel said to me about 30 years ago, and he hardly ever talks to me anyway. I mean, I do see him, but just occasionally. And the phrase was economy of words. Don't waste your time and energy with small talk and talking about stuff that's not important. So just use the barest minimal number of words as possible. You don't want to be verbose, and get the point across so that the person that you're talking to understands it. Okay, and now we're going October, November, December. This is a good card, so please don't be nervous about this card, because even though it's appearing in that time frame towards the end of the year, it is a theme throughout the whole year. That's what I'm saying. Get rid of what no longer serves you. Okay, so October, November, December, lovely Leos. And celebration time. This is the Three of Cups. Happiness. It typically indicates that you may be socialising with a group of people or dealing with a group of people at work where you have a common goal or a common theme unites you. It's not all smooth sailing. You'll see the three are standing in a horse, got horse on the brain, haven't I? In a fish's head, which indicates the subconscious. So this is again about the 12th house. So just realise that you're dealing with humans they've got subconscious forces, controlling us to a large extent. And there may be a few glitches because maybe your emotions are in there and their emotions are in there, and so it can be like a glitch, but you will sort it out and there will be a favourable outcome at the end. So if it's a work project, you're going to get it across the board. Something could happen here at work or in your personal life which is a bit of a shock or a bit traumatic, but then you sort it out and you come up with something that's even better a few months down the track. So don't be concerned. So King of Cups, so we've got 2 cups, 3 cups. So it's quite emotional, a sort of an emotional theme going on. The Tower card and Wands for inspirational sorts of energy. Okay, so I'll just close my eyes and see if there's anything else for you lovely Leos for 2020 generally. They're just showing me a gold medallion. It's like you win a gold prize, for trying, endeavouring to get things across the line. You will achieve a lot. Be careful with your time management. I know I said that last year. Be careful with your time management so that you're not, wasting time. It's almost like there's so much to be done and the time is getting shorter and shorter. So just get on, do what you've got to do. What's this thing? A lot of action here. I see a phenomenal amount of action. I see all these baseball bats, which means king hit the ball. You're going for a goal. You're going for the target, like you're shooting for a bullseye target. That's all the same sort of meaning. The moon is here, and it's a waxing moon, which means it's on the increase. So growth and opportunity are coming to you, lovely Leos, in 2020. This is a full-on learning year. More than any of the other signs I've done thus far, I feel like the growth is really an incredible amount of growth that you're going to get out of 2020. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'd also take this opportunity at the moment to thank you for supporting me through 2019. My tiny channel is growing. Thank you very much to all of the subscribers that I have, and it is growing quite rapidly. I think for the tininess of the channel, I'm no PewDiePie, that's for sure. But yeah, it's growing into a small channel now, so from a tiny channel to a small channel, so I'm really happy. So thank you for your support and your words of encouragement over 2019 and through 2020. I've got so much to do. If I can manage my time better, I'll be upping the rate of videos and uploads that I do. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you found it helpful, subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. Don't forget to share it to your friends. And have a wonderful and exciting year, dear Leos. Thanks again, and I shall catch you later. Bye for now.
Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.